Hello.
Hello, is Leland Sklar there?
This is he, guilty as charged.
Welcome to the Wiseguyz Show.